What's up, you guys? If you want to learn how to make a beautiful outdoor sofa just like this one, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so to start off, we are making 9 2x4s at 72 inches long. So this is to make it the width of the cushions 3 times. So you want to buy the cushions before you start building. Then you will need 13 2x4s at 25.5 inches for the cushion depth plus half an inch. Then you will need 2 2x4s at 28.5 inches, or the cushion depth plus 4 inches. Don't forget to wear proper PPE, which is personal protective something, and whenever you've done all the cuts, then I recommend staining all of your pieces before going into the construction of everything.
So this is only my second time ever using a saw. Joe just gave me a quick sawing 101. Last cuts you're gonna have to make are 28.5 inch. I already made one of them, and here's the last one. I wanted to get this. So proud, I'm using a saw for the first time.
I mean, this is a DIY, right? Why am I so excited that I'm going to use a saw by myself? But I did it.
So now Joe is just laying out all the pieces of wood, giving us a rough estimate of where things are gonna go and what they're gonna be like. It is a hot summer day over here in Texas. For this bench, we're going to be using the same screws that we used to actually make the deck. It's 2.5 inch screws, and they're for outdoor decking.
What we are doing now is putting the 25.5 inch 2x4 in between the two 72 inch pieces, and basically it's the 25.5 inch piece is sandwiched in between the two 72 inch pieces, and everywhere that we have screwed, we are going to put 2 screws in each spot. Doing the same process but on the other side, screwing in the 25.5 inch piece inside of the 72 inch 2x4s, and then we measured 17.5 inches from the outside board to the inside one that we just put in, and then 35.5 inch from the outside board to the inner one. This is how we're spacing it out perfectly, and then repeat for the other side. There's just one more piece that we're going to put in.
Okay, so now we're moving on to making the arms of the bench, and to do that you take your 28.5 inch piece and then you attach this is the 28, and then you attach the 25.5 inch underneath it, so it goes just right underneath.
I always forget to record an introduction, so now that we're 4 minutes in, hey y'all, I'm Jen. I am just a typical DIYer. I don't really know what I'm doing. I got these plans specifically for this project from Pinterest, and I'll link Anna White down below. She has a lot of really cool DIY stuff, but she only shows you how to do it using pictures, whereas I would like to see, like a video or something. Maybe she has other links that I could have watched, but I hope y'all enjoy.
Now what Joe is measuring is 14 inches from the bottom of the leg right there to the top of this piece of wood right here, and then basically you just repeat the process twice. This is one arm, of the bench, and then we'll do the other side in just a minute. Alright, moving on to step 4. It says to take one of the 25.5-inch pieces of board and attach it to the underside of the arms. So we flip the arm upside down and we're putting it flush with the center part of the arm. The instructions on the Pinterest post got a little bit confusing because it wasn't like totally specific. So this is how we're doing it. So this part that we just screwed, this 2x4, is going to be the inside edge.
Let's go ahead and talk about the cost for everything. The total for the 11 2x4x10s was $42.02. So if you like the look of unfinished wood, you can build this whole entire sofa, outdoor sofa, for under $50. That's pretty spectacular. Now, I did buy a gallon of stain for the deck, and I didn't even use half of it for the deck. And then I used part of it for the sofa bench that we're looking at right now. And the total for the whole gallon was $36, but I didn't even use half of it for the deck, and I didn't even use half of it for the bench either. There's still some left over that I plan on using for even more DIYs. So if you go to the store, like, you can probably get away with only using or buying a pint for this, which I bet a pint of the stain is only like $12. What we are doing now is adding the rest of the 72-inch 2x4s, and we're putting it on top, and we're just roughly estimating the spacing between it, whatever looks good. I think this part of the project is pretty forgiving because we are going to put cushions over it, so it's not even like anybody's going to be able to see if we put the 2x4s spaced out evenly or not.
So now that we have all of these planks in, we ended up just roughly measuring. We did pull out a measuring tape and then like putting them down. We couldn't get everything perfect, so we just estimated, and they're gonna have cushions over it anyways. It's about a little less than 2 inches spacing here. Now we have to figure out how we're going to put this back piece in. On Pinterest, they only have pictures really for the instructions. It's like pictures and then a tiny little description about it, and it just says like to put the back piece on there. We already decided that we didn't like how this one has like a huge knot in the front of the wood, so we're gonna use this side as the front of it. Looks real good. Also, we are going to add a piece of wood down here. We haven't decided if we want to have like multiple 1, 2, 3 or something like that, just so that, to give it extra support, because whenever we sit on it, like the weight goes down in the middle, so we don't want that to happen. We'll end up using some of our scraps for those little legs underneath. So we don't have a correct jig, so what we're going to do is just like freehand it. Alright, so that didn't work. Now we're gonna go get bigger screws. Alrighty, we just made it to Lowe's. Like, we're still on coronavirus stuff,
So don't forget to protect yourself before you rip yourself. You're looking for the longer screws, longer than 4 inches. They've got so many to choose from. Honestly, wish us luck. Okay, so Joe agreed to my idea and we bought these brackets, and we're thinking of either putting it like that and then basically screw it in here and then screw those in on top. We could also screw it in like this and then screw it through the bottom. I like this idea so that we won't be able to see it whenever we're actually sitting there. So here it is, everything's all put together. We do want to add some legs right there in the middle. Joe, can you sit in it so that you can show the camera what it does? Maybe I won't do it now that everything's together. Yeah, it has a little bit of give. I think it's plenty supportive, but when you get a few other people on there, it might bend more. And just for long-term effects, we'll put some legs right there. Also, once we get those legs on, we'll stain it in the same color that we did the deck, which is Napa wine. We actually ran into the same problem that we had with the back of the bench, where we should have probably just bought a Craig jig, but now we're gonna figure out how to do it. He just is using a screw, wiggling it around, screwing it in a little bit at a time until finally it was working for us. And then of course we repeated the process on both sides. Because I've already been to Lowe's like 3 times and keep forgetting to get new paint pans, I have this old rusty paint pan, and then I just put a trash bag over it, tuck it under, try to make it fitted, not so loose, and just tuck it under, the air out, and then I just use that. That's what I'm going to use right now while the stain. This is, like I said, this is the same stain as that we used for the deck. It is Napa wine color. I already gave the paint a good shake, by the way. And then just pour it in. And that works. Don't have to buy a new paint pan every time. You can, of course, and normally I would, but I just kept forgetting every time I went. It didn't even cross my mind, and we were there 5 minutes ago, literally. If you decide you want to stain the bench, then I highly, highly recommend that you do all of your cuts, pre-stain the wood, and then put everything together, because there are a lot of crevices that my paintbrush and paint rollers had a hard time getting to. So I really had to shove it down in there, and it took a lot more time than it probably should have. If you would pre-stain it, that would make your life so much easier at the end. Next, let's talk about the cost of the cushions. I got the cushions from Home Depot, and they costed a total of $238. That was the most expensive thing of the project. By all means, the cushions aren't totally necessary if you don't want them. However, I do really like the look of it. Lastly, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time to build the table for the deck.